guys, welcome back to the podcast, and thanks so much for joining me and listening to this episode today. Oh my gosh, it's a Sunday, it's my rest day, thank goodness. I've been in the trenches, let me tell you. Just with games training. It's been really fun, it's been really great, but man, oh man, my body at this point I feel like is just telling me like, are we almost done now? Which I do feel like it's honestly crazy how fast the games are coming up now. Like I'm on my final training block, which again, that's just crazy. I have 4 weeks left of like tough training and then we're at the games. And it's really weird to think about because I feel like, well, after the Mayhem Classic, which was my semifinal, that was the first semifinal out of all the semifinals. And so I really have had a while to train for the games. But I feel like because I feel like it's been so long, it's like the finish line just felt so far away. And now that it's approaching, it's getting nerve-wracking. But again, I'm having fun with it, but it's, my body is going through it. And honestly, like, I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want to jinx it. But where I'm living right now, it has just been the most amazing summer so far in the sense that it's been like 18 to like 22 degrees, sometimes a bit cooler Celsius. I'm not quite sure what that is Fahrenheit. But, you know, most CrossFit gyms don't have air conditioning. So I'm just so grateful that I feel like I can actually be productive with my training. I feel like in the past, it's just been so hot in the summer and it just really you're just fighting through the heat and it makes it really hard to get any sort of intensity. So yeah, I'm just super excited that it's been kind of cooler. I'm actually headed up to my parents' house today. They moved in like September up to a town called Kincardine, which it's a little more remote. It's kind of like a beach town. They're super close to Lake Huron. So I'm super excited. Today's like a pretty warm day. I think we're having some warmer weather next week, which I'm a little bit nervous about, but it's always slightly cooler more up north. So it's also kind of why I'm going up this week is I think it's going to be really hot this week down where I live. So if I can just get a couple degrees cooler up there, I will take it because so far it's just been so beautiful and so amazing and just really good for my training. But anyways, that's my little spiel. For today's episode, I just kind of wanted to do a Q&A. I haven't done one of these, I feel like, in a while. So you guys asked a bunch of questions and you really came through with them. So this should be a good episode and I hope you enjoy. We're just going to get right into it. The first question is, what is your favorite past games workout? Okay, if you're talking about workouts that I've done, you know what's crazy is I always think it's so interesting, the people that remember. Like, I don't know. To me, a lot of it is kind of a blur. Maybe that just goes to show with where I was at mentally at that time. But I think it was called like the intervals or something. It was like you had a certain amount of time to get through the first part and then there was a bit of rest and then you did it all in reverse. And I think it was in 23, I'm assuming. But I just loved that workout. That was a workout where you just get in a flow and it's so crazy because like you're going so hard. It was pretty fast workout. It was like box jump overs, burpee box jump overs, rowing, just like a bunch of that. And then you rested and then you did it in reverse. I loved that workout because I just got in this flow. And it was just, it's like this high that you get in CrossFit where it's like, you're going so fast, but you literally don't even feel anything. It's crazy. Like you don't even feel the pain. You don't even feel anything. You're just like in this, I don't even know what the state is, your flow state. And it just feels so good. And it's like so euphoric in a way. And I just felt that throughout the whole workout. And then to top it off, it does make it more fun, the fact that I did win that event. But I will always remember that one. And it was a pretty cool moment. And yeah, dang it. I can't remember what it was exactly called, but maybe you remember the one that I'm talking about. That one was really good. I also really love biking. And so workouts where we're on, like, I think it was also in 23, the 40-minute, although that workout absolutely sucked and I went out so hot and I was in so much pain, like just from going hard. I do really love riding like mountain bikes, and I'm so excited because I think the bike is coming back this year. So I'm really looking forward to it, but I love any events that have those. Okay, hopefully that answered the question. All right, next question. Main and best supplements for better recovery and performance. Okay, so honestly, I'm not a huge supplement person. I always try and just, if I can eat specific foods, that's what I lean more towards. But obviously there's certain things where you kind of can't do that. So I'll tell you all the supplements that I'm taking and then a few of them for like, I'll explain why. Okay, so I take a lot of vitamins. I'll just start with those. I take some omega-3, vitamin C, which is really good for immunity too. I feel like I've been getting sick a lot this winter, so I've been really on the vitamin C and vitamin D also. What else? I take iron, an iron supplement. I've been like pretty low in iron before, so I take that. And then, is that all my vitamins? I think that's all my vitamins right now. Sometimes I add in some zinc and magnesium. I had magnesium. Ooh, what's the one? Magnesium citramate. And that one is not the one I was trying to take. That one, I think, helps you be able to use the bathroom, which I didn't realize. I'm trying to get the other one. It's like bisglycinate or something. And that one is helpful for sleep. So if you take that one before bed, apparently it's supposed to help with your sleep. So I'm trying to get on that one. I'm just trying to find one that's like clean. But anyways, those are like my main vitamins. And then supplements that I'll take, I'll do like a whey protein, which is good. And then it's easy to digest. And then I also take creatine. I take about 5 grams of creatine every single day. That's really good for helping to build muscle. And so performance based, but also just for brain health and overall health. So I do take creatine. I also take beta alanine. That one I started taking more recently, and I was a little bit skeptical to take it because I don't love taking supplements, like I said. But that one is supposed to, honestly, I've just heard, I should have probably done more research into it, but my boyfriend Jack takes it, so I just figured it was okay. And I know that a lot of other athletes do. I think it's really good to help, I don't know, necessarily improve, but it helps with your lungs, I think. Don't quote me on that, but that's why I take it, because I think it does. So yeah, those are like the main supplements that I take on a day-to-day that I find help me. Like I said, I don't love taking supplements, so I feel like I'm pretty intentional when it comes to it. So I feel like they all have a purpose and a reason, and that's kind of all my reasons. I hope that was okay. All right, next one. What's your favorite style? Oh, what's your favorite training style and least favorite? Favorite muscle group to train and least favorite? Favorite training style? I do. Okay, so I'll go between maybe like weightlifting and like running and gymnastics. Those will be maybe my categories. I do love like the longer aerobic. I don't love like a power output. Like I would much rather do a super long steady state than like a super hard effort training session. Those definitely are my favorites. I like lifting, but I don't know. I'm not sure I'd say it's like necessarily my favorite. I'd probably say, yeah, the longer conditioning is like my favorite. I did say least favorite's like power output. Sometimes lifting isn't all that fun to me if it's like, sometimes lifting can literally be conditioning. And when you have to do like I used to have to do in my training these AMRAPs, like I'd be doing back squats, say, and it's like at a pretty decent weight. And then after a bunch of sets with like prescribed reps, then you go into as many reps as you can at that weight. And sometimes you're getting up to like 20 reps. And that just, oh my gosh, like I don't like doing stuff like that. It just kills me. Okay. And favorite muscle group to train. I love doing like upper body stuff. That's definitely my favorite. Least favorite, honestly, it might be core. I used to really not like legs. Like sometimes in my off season when I would do not CrossFit and I would just kind of do like bodybuilding type workouts where you're focusing on specific muscle groups. I always love the upper body. I would honestly dread the lower body because lower body's hard. I don't know. I didn't find it as fun. But sometimes I also feel that way about core. So kind of indecisive there. But yeah, that's my little spiel. Okay, next question. What's the plan after CrossFit? Oh, well, I would like to know that too. I honestly have no idea. Like I said before, I did have plans to go to university. But I was just so indecisive, like what I was interested in, if I wanted to go more science route, if I wanted to go more business route, and I wasn't really sure. And then I was overwhelmed by, do I go part-time? Do I go full-time? Do I go in person? Do I go online? Like I was just so overwhelmed by options, and I just kind of thought, well, I'm doing this and it's, I can kind of put a lot of time and energy into it. So, and have this be my full-time thing. So I'll just do that until I kind of decide. And now it's been 3 years since I graduated from high school and I'm still so unsure. Although I didn't necessarily think, like I've had people say to me before, oh, so like you just work out, like that's all you do all day. Like, no, like, yes, but like, no, obviously training takes up a lot of my time and it is my job. But there's also a lot behind the scenes that goes on to things like content creation and trying to keep up with all the socials and here doing my podcast and trying to be more connected with all the businesses that I work with and the sponsors that I have on that side of things. So there is like, it is a full-time job and I love it. It's super fun. I'm super grateful for it. I always just get put off a little bit when people say, oh, so like you just work out. So like, what else do you do? And it's kind of like, well, it kind of feels a little condescending in a sense, but also I totally understand where people are coming from, just curiosity of like, what does this look like? That I can totally appreciate and understand because it is so true. Even when I started, I had no idea like what this job necessarily looked like. But I don't know. I think I've always just kind of held on to maybe if I decide, like, I mean, school's always going to be there. If there comes an opportunity or a time that feels right that I want to do that. Right now, I'm kind of at the point though, where because this does take up so much of my time, I feel like if I were to go back to school right now, something's got to give somewhere. And so I just feel like that doesn't really make sense for me right now because this is how I make my money now. I am like living off of this. And I think why not just be able to take full advantage of the time that my body is capable of doing this? Because it definitely won't be able to forever. So that's kind of just where my headspace is at with everything right now. But I don't know. I mean, I've kind of not hoped, but just thought about maybe something after will come from my CrossFit career. I'm not really sure. It still feels really far away, but I know that time does go by very quickly and there will come a point where I'll need to like figure something out because like I said, say I retire at like 28. I'm 28 and then what? Like some people are just getting jobs at that age. So I don't know. Honestly, I have a lot to think about. Okay, next question. Are you motivated to compete at the CrossFit Games this year? Yes, I included this question in because I've been reflecting a lot now at this point and just thinking about the last time I went to the CrossFit Games, how different of a headspace I was in. That was in 2024. And I've obviously talked a lot about my mental state at that time in my life where I was just a shell of a human and just not feeling myself, not very happy and motivated, and a lot of things I was just struggling with internally. And I feel like where I'm at right now is a complete 180. The way I've been like thinking about all of the sessions that I had in 2024 at this time, like a couple weeks out from the games, and just how I felt. I still remember those feelings pretty vividly, and all I can remember is just feeling like, when is this going to be done? I don't even want to think about the games. I'm not even excited about the games. I would cry during every single training session. I would just literally try and survive each day and get through each day. And I was just moving through life at a very, I was just very miserable. And now thinking about how I feel, it's a completely different lead up to the games this time around, which I'm so grateful for. I feel like I've put in so much work on myself, and it's so, so, so nice to feel like it has done something for me and helped me. I'm able to enjoy my training days, and I used to put so much pressure on all of my training. Like every training session felt like a direct reflection of who I was as a person that day. And that was part of the reason why I would just get so upset and hard on myself every single day. But now I've come to realize that obviously there's so much more to life than just training and CrossFit and how you do. And I feel like I'm just enjoying my training. I'm working hard in my training, but I'm also enjoying life a bit outside of that. And so like this weekend, I'm so excited. I'm going to have a beach day, hopefully when I go up to my parents' house. And I feel like before I just would have been so restrictive with everything that I allowed myself to do. If it didn't help me in the gym, I probably wasn't going to do it, which is kind of wild to actually think about. And it makes sense why I felt so isolated and miserable. But I'm just so glad that I've been able to kind of let that mindset go because, yeah, ultimately I feel excited about the games. I feel like, I'm doing everything I can in training, but I'm also enjoying the summer because it is summer and you're supposed to have fun and enjoy the process. And I think I've mentioned this before, but someone told me that a happy competitor is a dangerous competitor. And I'm just really, more so than ever, just realizing how true I feel like that statement is. So yeah, hope that answered your question. Okay, next question. How has regular sauna sessions impacted your recovery? Okay, I'm really excited about this question because I feel like I haven't really talked a lot about my sauna sessions, but so obviously going to the sauna is really good for like your recovery. I love doing contrast therapy with the saunas and cold plunging. I feel like I really have felt a difference in muscle soreness and just muscle recovery in general. So I find like whenever I'm training really hard and I'm just like probably going to be pretty sore, I'll try and get in to do some contrast therapy. And I do actually find that there are great benefits from that. Like I do feel a lot less sore when I do it. One thing though that I have been really utilizing the sauna for is heat training. And kind of like I said before that like it's been a really really nice summer here and so far it hasn't been insanely hot. But with that, I obviously want to make sure that by the time I am at a competition, San Jose, where the games are, like it's probably going to be pretty hot there. So I want to make sure that I'm acclimated to the heat because that's a whole nother beast. If you're not acclimated to like working out in the heat, that definitely takes some time to adjust to. So I have been trying to go to the sauna and like push those sessions a little more in terms of just like getting exposed to a lot of heat so that my body is not like it's not feeling super foreign to me by the time I'm there. So that has been something that I've actually found is huge. Like we haven't had a ton of hot days yet, but there's been a couple and I feel like I've actually noticed the difference of like if I wasn't doing the sauna, I would have been dying right now. Cause usually I do. Usually at the beginning of the summer, there's, you know, a transitional time period where I'm kind of adjusting to the heat, but I've found that transition has felt a lot smoother ever since I've been doing the sauna super consistently. So yeah, there's a lot of great benefits to doing regular sauna sessions. Definitely do some research into it. And obviously there's like a lot of different types of saunas. But yeah, I love the saunas. All right, next question. Do you use breathing techniques during high intensity cardio sessions? I included this question too because I I have been I'm really into breath work. I do really like that. I love going to yoga and I love like the meditation aspects of it and I feel like it's just taught me a lot about the breath and how you can use it to your advantage. And I'm not going to say that I do a specific like breath work sequence or anything when I'm doing hard training. But as crazy as it sounds, sometimes we forget to breathe when we're working out. Like we're just doing a lot of short, like fast breaths. And whenever I catch myself doing that, I take a moment to lengthen my breath. And I just feel like that totally helps to regulate your heart rate. So I think just kind of being aware of your breath and not forgetting to breathe. Like I said, sometimes I catch myself in a moment and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm literally not even breathing. Like I'm not thinking about breathing and you're kind of just focusing on the work. But when you really actually focus on your breath in a workout, you can totally use your breath, to an advantage. So yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, next one. What is something you want to improve in your life or as an athlete? Ooh, that's a good question. I think something more recently has just been, I want to be more present. I really have been trying to work on this. Time just goes by so fast and I don't want to look back and think I just lived my life with my face in my phone. I feel like a lot of us do that these days, which like, I mean, social media and, you know, being on your phone, it's such a part of culture nowadays. But I catch myself like, I can't walk somewhere in my house without grabbing my phone. And I'm like, I shouldn't be doing that. That's crazy. Why do I need to bring my phone with me when I'm just going to grab something upstairs real quick? Like I don't need to. It's literally attached to me 24/7. And so I guess this is in terms of improve in my life. More so than being an athlete. But yeah, I really want to be more present. I want to be able to I created a mood board as I've mentioned already. at the beginning of the year. And one of the things on it says, do more things. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read it. Do more things that make you forget to check your phone. Yes, that's what I'm really, really, really trying to do. Actually, something that I've started doing is bedazzling. And I really like that because I feel like it's a hobby that I can do where I can just, I'm not on my phone. I can sit outside. It's pretty peaceful. I can just sit with my thoughts. And I think it's really good to sit with your thoughts. I think that's really important to do. I feel like I don't give myself enough time to be bored. And I think being bored is really important. I think that's when you can kind of get creative and just analyze your thoughts. And I don't know. I just think it's a good thing. So anyways, I'm just really trying to be more present. And honestly, I guess that can translate over to like my life as an athlete as well. I used to find I wasn't being very intentional in my training sessions, and I was kind of just like thinking about so much more, rushing through my session. I think being more present and intentional in my training is also something that I actually have been trying to focus on as well, because I feel like I can just be more productive that way. So being present is a good thing and something I feel like I'll always have to keep working on, but it's something that I really want to work on. All right, next question. Oh, yes. Okay. Birth control as an elite level athlete. This was always something that I kind of, I thought about a lot, obviously, when I was younger too. And I was a little bit skeptical because I'm also just someone that I don't like to put anything in my body that I don't know, that isn't food. Like, hence why I also mentioned I don't love taking a lot of supplements. I'm a little bit particular about what goes into my body, which is a good thing. But yeah, when I was a bit younger, this was definitely something that, you kind of think about. But I have actually never been on any birth control, and it's worked for me. Like I feel great. Thankfully, I've never been the type to like have go on it for other reasons too, where like maybe you have really bad acne or really bad like period cramps or anything. I've been fortunate enough to not experience that, but I have been learning a lot about the female cycle, and I think it's so important to learn about, because yes, we learn about it a little bit in school, but there's so much that I've learned within the last few years, honestly, that I had no idea about. And I think spending the time and learning about the female cycle, it's honestly super empowering. Like, to know so much more about your body, it helps you feel so in tune with your body. And there's so many symptoms too where like you think it's normal and it's not. Your periods shouldn't be excruciating every single month. And honestly, I've heard so many stories online too, just through all of the, I guess, kind of research that I've done, where, people go on birth control also for period cramps and everything. And then like, cause their periods are just so painful. And then they eventually get off of it whenever they want to start having a family, and come to realize those symptoms at the beginning were so bad because they had PCOS or endometriosis, and it went undiagnosed for so long. And now it's really hard to manage, or what could have been time spent helping manage it. Manage isn't the right word, but maybe you know what I mean. Has now just been time that they didn't know they had it. And, now it's a little bit harder to work with. So I don't know. I think starting with just so much research into the female cycle, because I was super hesitant when I was younger too, thinking about going on it, because not only for what I put in my body, but also just the hormonal aspects of it. Like, I didn't know how it would affect me. I didn't know, how I already felt like an emotional hot mess. So I felt like I didn't need anything else to kind of influence me in that sense. Yeah. And you just never know how it will impact you. So that's just kind of been my experience with it. On obviously everybody's different and everybody's preferences are different. I actually use this app called Natural Cycles, and you do have to pay a subscription for it, but it is super helpful and it helps you be able to track your period and your cycle like pretty accurately. And I just find with that also it allows me like in the past when I had no idea, I would be like, oh my gosh, I got so unfit this week. Why did I feel so bad? And then I would get so hard on myself. Whereas now I can see in my app that like, okay, I'm in my luteal phase. This makes so much sense as to why I feel like complete garbage. And then it's just kind of like a mental note for me where it's like, okay, this is why, and that's okay. And so, yeah, sorry. I feel like that explanation was kind of all over the place, but yeah, I hope this helps. Okay, next question. How do you stay so disciplined to work out at home and do your workout solo? Well, so I don't know. I think the more that I think about this question, the more that I just kind of think to myself, working out honestly never really feels like a choice necessarily to me. Even whenever I'm not training, working out to me is just a part of my routine. It's like brushing my teeth or getting ready in the morning. Like it is just a part of my day, and I don't even ask myself, do I feel like it today? I don't do that about brushing my teeth or getting ready for the day. I just do it because I have to do it. And that's kind of how I view movement. I don't necessarily want to say working out because obviously, like right now, I'm in a huge training block, but even in my off seasons, movement is always a part of my days. And I always make it a priority to be a part of my days because I just know how much better I feel after I do it. And so sometimes there's just little things like that that can help you get through it. Mine is just, I know I will feel so much better after doing it. Even if I don't feel like doing it, I know I'm going to feel so much better after. I can just go out into the garage for an hour or less, just get something done, put on some good music, listen to a good podcast. Those are always my things where like, if I'm not quite feeling it, romanticize it a little bit. I kind of talked about this on one of my podcast episodes before of just like romanticizing things. But like if I'm really not feeling a workout, you best believe I'm going to be doing my hair super cute. I'm going to be picking out the cutest outfit. I'm going to be, putting on some jewelry, getting a good playlist on. Like I'm going to be feeling super cute and good because, when you look good, you feel good. So I definitely feel like that, even if it's just in the garage, like in the past, I would always just be like, oh, I'm just going out to the garage. Like, it doesn't matter how I look. Like, no one's going to see me. But truly, when you look good, you feel good. Like, I have spent more time being like, okay, even though I'm just going out into the garage, I'm going to look all cute. And it totally helps. You may say I'm crazy, but it does. It does. I truly feel like it does. And so, yeah, I think there's just like little things like that that do help me. I will acknowledge though, like, yes, it is super hard to get out to the garage and do workout in there by yourself. I did do it for so long. And I think, yeah, like I said, it just became a part of my routine at that point. Now I will say I don't work out in my garage as much as I used to in the past. That's just mainly because my garage is a lot smaller now, and I have really found that I just felt really isolated, and I didn't like that. I do find that I really enjoy working out around people, and so I will try and put in the extra effort to be able to work out around people, whether they're doing the same thing as me or not. Just being surrounded by others is always helpful. But yeah, I think it's just, a part, when you think about it as part of your routine, maybe that can help a little bit. All right, next question. If you weren't doing CrossFit professionally, what would you do? This is a great question. And I wonder the same thing sometimes. Sometimes I wonder, I know I talked about of how I had intentions to go to university. I talked about it in this episode already too, and then I didn't, and kind of, which I feel like I didn't put too much pressure on myself to make a decision because I knew that I kind of also had something else, which was CrossFit, that I could be doing if I didn't decide. I feel like if I wasn't doing CrossFit, I definitely would have decided and gone to school. I don't know. See, I was so torn. At one point, I thought I wanted to be a physiotherapist, and I thought that would have been really cool. But then honestly, I think it was a bring your kid to work day in like grade 8 or something. And I did that, and I went to a physio clinic, and I think I was kind of just like, yeah, no, this is not for me. I don't know. It just wasn't quite for me at that point. I don't know. I think the older I've gotten, the more I've realized how much I do enjoy like being creative. And I'm not saying I mean, with my social media, I feel like I do have fun at times doing that stuff and getting creative with things. And so I don't know if something in like the business realm of like marketing could be something that would be fun. Let me think. Oh, I also thought I wanted to be a firefighter. I still could see that potentially in my future. I think that, obviously you're helping people, but also it's a pretty physically active job. I think that's just something I've always known is I don't want to have a desk job. I want to have a job that I'm, moving and I'm being pretty active. And so, yeah, I don't know. Those are all just been kind of things that I've been thinking about and have thought in the past or when I was younger that maybe I'd want to do. So, yeah. All right. Oh, I like this question. Top 3 biggest gym icks. Ooh, okay. Well, okay. Okay, I've got them. Okay, I'm going to start with the first one, which is probably the obvious one and probably one for a lot of people is like BO. And when someone's not wearing deodorant, I'm so sorry, but I just can't. To begin with, it's bad, but then when you're trying to work out, I cannot personally. Always keep deodorant in your gym bag. Okay, next one. No grips on a pull-up bar, especially the like super rough ones. Oh my gosh, I literally can't. Every time I see someone doing that, I'm like, how are your hands not just like blistered right now? I cannot fathom jumping up to a bar and doing anything without grips on my hands. I also think I rely so much on my grips. Like I literally put my full body weight into those grips that I cannot picture not wearing them. Like I tell myself I couldn't probably do a bar muscle up if I didn't have grips on. Although, which is actually kind of funny because when I started doing CrossFit for like the first few years, I did not wear grips. I was so against wearing grips, but times have changed. Okay, that's 2. My third one. Oh yeah. Okay. When someone has super long hair and they wear it in a ponytail and say it's like 30 degrees, like super hot, super sweaty, and their hair is just sticking to their back in their ponytail. I literally cannot. Whenever I work out, I cannot have my hair touching my neck or my back or touching me at all. It gives me like the biggest ick of like, just feels gross. And I wish I could work out with my hair in a ponytail, but I just cannot. And the people that can work out in a ponytail, I really wish I could. I just can't. But whenever I see people with like, especially like thick hair and it's just like stuck on their back, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would be so irritated by that. I can't do it. Okay. Next one. Ooh, okay. Pick one to do for the rest of your life. Pilates or running. That's a tough one because it always depends on my mood. Like, I feel like I would pick them for different reasons. Running, I love because, I mean, it can be so just like fun when you have a nice trail. You can go as fast as you want, you can go as slow as you want, you can get, different kind of. I feel so accomplished after I finish running. But then like Pilates, it's also very challenging. It works different muscle groups that I feel like I don't typically work, and it's also just like kind of aesthetic. I mean, I guess running kind of is too. Oh, Pilates, you put on like a cute little matching set. I guess you could do the same for running. I feel like I want to say Pilates, but I don't know if that's true. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll say Pilates. I don't know. Don't get mad at me for that one. Okay, next question. How do you avoid feeling guilty if you eat off your plan? Ooh, okay. In the last few years, I have really tried to not put food in certain categories. And what I mean by that is like label them as good or bad. I think that I feel like I've learned a lot more about gut health and nutrition in the last few years as well, because I definitely used to have a lot of stomach issues. And I think now, because of that, I view foods as like based on their nutritional value. And I think honestly, that's helped me tremendously, because I definitely used to be a part of the group of people where I labeled, oh, that's a bad food and that's a good food. And whenever I would eat a bad food, I would feel super bad about it, obviously, because I've labeled it as bad. So yeah, like I said, now I really just I don't have a meal plan. I don't track my food. I really just try and eat a balanced diet. And I feel like the word balanced diet can be thrown around a little bit, but the way that I think about it is more so I want to eat a lot of variety. I want to get a lot of nutrients from different sources of foods. And yes, I pretty much eat the same thing every day, but I feel like I eat a lot of variety. I've been including a lot of things like sauerkraut and like I started eating alfalfa sprouts. Those are so good. And just like the microgreens are really nutritious for you. Fruits are really obviously good. Healthy fats, lots of avocados. I do some like nuts. I've really been trying to do more. I buy my bread. I get sourdough bread, but I buy it from a bakery and it's fresh every week. So there's no preservatives in them. I'm just really trying to be intentional about the ingredients that are in my food, more so for nutritional value. And so if I want to have an ice cream cone, I'll have an ice cream cone. But I also know throughout the day that I've eaten a lot of nutrients, that eating an ice cream cone isn't going to, first of all, upset my stomach or, be a huge deal, because I do eat a pretty well balanced diet. And so, yeah, I try and not think about my diet. Well, I don't think about what I eat as a diet. I think I eat intuitively and I eat what I feel like eating, but I also do try and look for if there's healthier options of things. I will go for that one. But mainly just because of how it makes me feel, how I know that I feel better overall when I eat whole, good ingredient foods. And that's just when I prefer to feel good. I obviously opt for the healthier options. But like I said, the odd time when I want to eat something that's not healthy or whatever, I want to treat myself, but not even like treat myself, because it's just like if I feel like it. If I feel like I want to eat it, I'll probably eat it, and it's not going to be the end of the world. One thing or a few things isn't going to hurt you. So yeah, I hope maybe that shift in mindset can maybe help help you out there. All right. I've got only a few more, so stick with me. Next question. Do you get nervous before competing / how do you manage it? Yes, definitely. I think, if you haven't yet, you should go back and listen to my Mayhem Classic episode because I talk a lot about my mindset there. I was super nervous, super nervous for that competition. And I definitely talked a lot about how to manage it more in depth. But basically, I've just come to realize and come to learn the things that work for me. And one thing that I posted on my Instagram and the main topic of the Mayhem Classic episode was I would put so much pressure on the outcome of the weekend, and that's what would consume me and cause so much nerves. But what I started doing at that competition, and it truly helped me, was I thought about a bunch of different wins that I could have throughout the weekend that had nothing to do with the leaderboard. Things like fueling properly for each workout, making sure I was getting enough sleep. What else did I say? Anyways, just a bunch of things like that I can focus on that support my goal, but they're just kind of like micro wins throughout the weekend where they can help build my confidence. But also if things don't necessarily go my way at the end of a competition, I still feel like there's things that I accomplished. And I feel like that helps manage my nerves, just because, I don't know, I feel like it gives me other things to think about other than just, the competition and how well I want to do in it. I also think that for myself, at least, as I mentioned, I love yoga, and I always love doing a yoga session the day before an event. And for me, that's mainly just because there's a lot of breath work involved. There's a lot of breathing exercises, slow movement. It kind of calms you down and grounds you. And I've started doing that a couple years ago, and I do it now before every competition. And I feel like it just helps put me in a calm mindset. Because as we know, nerves are always super high and you kind of just are in that high energy mode a little bit. So if you can kind of calm yourself down, do some slow breaths, I always find that to be super helpful for me. All right, we got 2 more. Do you have any tips on building strength and building muscle? Okay, so when I started as well, I was pretty lean and small, and definitely I was good at the running and gymnastics and stuff like that. But the thing that didn't come quickly to me was the strength. And that was something that I had to work on for a long time. Obviously, strength takes time to build, just like a lot of things, but you definitely won't see immediate results. Building strength comes from consistency across a long period of time, and you kind of just have to be patient. Things that can probably help support that is also just thinking about what other things in your training that you're doing. Usually when I'm on a heavy strength block, my strength is always my priority. Say I didn't have time to do everything in my training, I will always prioritize the strength. That always needs to be our priority. I think it's also really important to push the weights. Sometimes we think, that feels heavy enough. When you're trying to build muscle, you have to go heavy. And sometimes we're a little bit scared to do that, but challenge yourself. Try picking up the bigger dumbbells this week than you did last week, or adding a couple extra pounds on this set this week than what you did last week. It's important to keep building and not just staying at the same weight every week, because it's hard, but it's also comfortable. You need to keep pushing the limits to build strength. I also think certain supplements like creatine and is super helpful to when you're trying to build strength. also eating enough protein. I'm sure you've heard this before, but obviously protein helps to build your muscles. So it's important to make sure that you're eating enough protein to support that. But yeah, honestly, it's just something that takes time and it will come. You just have to be consistent with it. Okay, I actually thought I had one more question, but I don't. So that was all the questions. Yeah, I hope you found like this was an enjoyable episode. Maybe you got something from it. Maybe you didn't. I hope it was at least just entertaining. But if you guys like episodes like this too, let me know. I'm always happy to do these types of episodes where you guys just ask me a bunch of questions. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you did too. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.